Hey guys, Prodigy Sim here with another Overwatch Legendary Uprising tutorial. This one I'm going to be doing Reinhardt, and it took a ton of tries to get this one done. So I had like 2 or 3 different groups that it didn't work out with. These guys wanted to queue up again, and we actually tried like 3 times. So I kind of think that's mostly because Reinhardt's a very important character to play in this. But he doesn't scale very well. Like at best, you're gonna like be killing multiple things at once. Usually that doesn't matter as much. Most of the time you're just shielding and trying to help out the other players. So it's a lot harder to be sort of a full carry as Rein. But there are some things you can do. Right off at the first point, you can shield to help the Torb get his turret up. But I think Rein is mostly best at, killing off tons of mobile troopers at once. We kind of get some that spawn in on us, so I'd like to shield during that section. Torb still doesn't have his turret up, try to make sure everybody can stay alive and he gets that up. And we'll just take our time, do things kind of slow. When you're hitting enemies as Rein,
I just got my settings set to default.
Once you get that first hammer swing onto an enemy, he sort of gets stunned/confused. So you really want to use that not only to, be able to kill things, but it also sort of slows down the amount of damage you take. So you want to hit as many enemies at once as you can to try to keep them from taking your team down. Fire strikes, pretty much just spam them like mad. I'll use my fire strike to hit one target all the time. Doesn't really matter. It's just another thing that deals damage. If you swing left click, you swing your hammer and hit something and then hit fire strike right after and then keep swinging, it's slightly faster. Like it sort of has an animation cancel, you might call that. So you can get sort of extra damage out by doing that. So really just use all your cooldowns. So on this section, I know there's not a lot of danger right at the start, so I help out with killing that first set of enemies. And we're going to have a nice calm section for about 15% or so. So I use that time to help Torb get his turret placed.
Armor's on the point.
Our Torb in this game likes to really put the armors just right in the middle of everything. I try to avoid them, but it's not really possible in a lot of this. I just don't think Reinhardt needs the extra armor in most cases. There are some times that I do pick him up on purpose, but in general, I don't. Now here, I charge into this Eradicator. Don't really need to do that. I figured I could get away with it. It's kind of risky to do, because you can take a lot of damage while you're doing a charge like that. But this team had a lot of issues, so I was trying to just do everything I could to get extra damage, extra survival out of us. And if those Eradicators are unchecked, they will take down my shield very quickly. Here I'm sort of starting the spawn block for that Torbjorn while he's still heading in that direction. Torb's going to take the top right here, as I think Torbs generally should, so that's very good. And then I'm just taking over the front hallway. So it's a lot of just go in, do some swings. If you can, charge the Eradicator and get out. My health gets down pretty low, but as I like to say, Reinhardt is a character with 2,500 HP. You're not really in trouble unless your shield's gone. You can almost always just sort of put your shield up to block the next thing. Being able to block the Eradicator shots right before they land is pretty good. But here mostly it's just fire strike, get in, get out. Had to use a res there on Tracer. Not a huge deal. First res of the game. And try to help Mercy out with some of the side spawns. But mostly you just want to be taking over this front corridor, not letting the Eradicators make it out into the room. They kind of get scared and back out if you're really in there swinging at them. And so that can keep things pretty manageable on Hack Terminals 3. So on this section there's some somewhat interesting choices I make as Rein. I have to say, in this section, our Tracer's pretty good. Our Torb does some interesting stuff. He does some of the spawn blocks that I showed in my Torb and Tracer videos. I don't think they're Again, I don't think they're the most important thing, but it's kind of interesting and helpful. I think it's mostly an optimization for like getting rid of the dogs. Trying to keep payload health, which we do not keep a lot of payload health in this. This is 3 players who haven't beat the event yet, and I'm helping them get it, basically. Here, just like to swing early, get those down. Not much else to do there. You notice I haven't really used my ult yet. Kind of like with the others, during the early part of the game, the ults don't matter, so you could just use them whenever. But Reinhardt's ult is the most powerful in terms of like keeping your team alive. So I really like to make sure I have it for the key moments where it's needed. Here our Tracer doesn't quite get that Eradicator, so I help out with it with another charge again. Try to fire strike down these lines that hit a whole bunch of dogs all at once. And then I do like to spend some time shielding. Not just for the Torp turret, but just for the whole team. If I'm not really close to any enemies, or I'm not going to really change anything, just shield up for your team. Like even this one guy, like I could go up and hit him, or I could just shield and wait for my fire strike and let my other teammates kill it. I already have ult charge too, right? So I don't need ult charge. Alright, so here, I really like, this is my preferred way to deal with the detonators. You go up before they're going to spawn. This one spawns at like 253. You go up and you just start wailing away at it where it's going to spawn. And usually it goes down a little bit easier than that. I was kind of taking my time and killing some other stuff. But you can almost always get it taken down just before it gets to the point. Now here, I'm a little late to getting this one. Our team was pretty busy with a lot of other stuff, mostly because our Torb's like off to the side just spawn blocking. But I make it there. I'd like to hit the charge on that one because, you know, he's a little bit closer to the point when he spawns. If you hit the charge in there at any point, you know, you give yourself some extra time. You can let him come to the point first and then charge. It can also get you closer to some of the trash in the back so that you can hit both the detonator and the trash. Turns out I have a lot to say about Ryan. This is the character I've played most in our like high score runs that we've done.
Bastion right.
Bastions, you always want to get on these really quickly. I like to try to hit them a couple times before I go for the charge because I really want them to have aggro on me. I don't want them shooting my teammates. I want them shooting the guy with 500 health and a bunch of armor. And again, my Tracer's not dealing with the Eradicator for whatever reason, so I make an executive decision here in just a second, I think, to just go over and charge it. Maybe I don't. Guess not. Bastion's on the side. I ult this one because we're obviously getting pretty overrun with a bunch of stuff on the point. I don't even fully land the charge, but at least I like bump him away from the point. We get the res right here, and then I'm just gonna shield and hope our Tracer deals with it. Yeah, our Tracer
Armor
does.
in the set.
Figured keeping people alive is a little more important. That whole area just gets crazy. Like with Ryan, you have to hit every charge on this Bastion's on Legendary. It's super important. If you aren't hitting charges on those Bastions, you're not going to kill him. If you can charge him towards point, that's the best, because then everything's hitting them super well. Like, people can hit the headshots and close-up shots on him. Turret hits them more, and you can swing and hit dogs at the same time too. So here again, we don't get a lot of DPS in on him, so I'm just going to shield and let my teammates take him out. I try to shield as close to him as possible to let my teammates sort of choose where to position themselves. If you're really far back, they're having to shoot from farther away and stuff like that. And the detonator, again, I'm super... this whole game just feels really behind.
Right.
So I'm late to killing this detonator, and I make a choice to go for a swag play to kill 2 birds with 1 stone right here. You can't ignore this Bastion. I think ideally, if you can hit both the Bastion and the detonator with your ult there, like if they both spawn on the same side, that's like the luckiest you can get. That's the best luck. If they're both on the same side on the left when they spawn, then you can hit that ult, you can swing at them both, you can charge the Bastion, you can ignore them, you can, you know, usually pretty easily kill the detonator. So honestly, that's probably one of the most stressful parts for the Reinhardt. There's just so much you could be doing, so much you may need to do, and here we head on to payload 1. Now I'm mostly just making sure I see where the Bastion is. It's my job to shield the Bastion. I don't unnecessarily have to shield every Bastion shot, but I do need to make sure that Torb turret doesn't go down. And I need to make sure that most of my squishy teammates don't die. So I'd like to have aggro on it. I'd like to be up in his face every time. So here he gets out, and I just kill all these dogs off as quickly as I can because I know they're overloading the point, and try to shield again as soon as he appears in the back. I can't even put my shield down. Everything's wrecking us. But I find a split second to go in and get a charge. You really need to be above like 300 health. Like, you need to have some armor on you to go in for a charge on the Bastion. Otherwise, he'll take you down pretty quickly. Here, again, I like to charge the payload a little early, even though we could possibly kill it. Just charging it away gives us some extra room, some extra time. The rest of the team isn't frantically trying to kill it, and they can focus on some of the trash in front and the side of us. Next Bastion's coming up. This guy, he's in the back, so it sounds like he's going to take a while, so I just call for my team to like work on the Eradicators instead. So I get one of their shields down. I don't know what my Tracer's doing, honestly. She doesn't seem interested in the Eradicators, but whatever. So here I'm just trying to shield because I know the Bastion's really soon. I could ult this Bastion, but I really want to. I think, particularly if you're having trouble, you want to save Reinhardt's charge for the third Bastion at this point. So I kind of let Torb's Molten Core. Torb called out he was going to Molten Core. I let him handle it, and I did manage to find a spot where I could charge him, which helps out a bit. So here, this Bastion spawns and a bunch of Splicers spawn, so I'm just trying to get an angle on both the Bastion and the Splicers. And if you manage to do that, then that Bastion just becomes super easy. There's no Splicers hitting the point.
Take out the first
you can get your whole team behind killing that guy. It worked out really well. Definitely want to have some ult available for this.
And then we go back for the Orisa.
Another sort of cute note here, as you're heading into the finale area, you can actually sit in the corner next to the payload, and if you just hold forwards into this corner or backwards if you turn around, then it won't knock you away. You can really quickly go for the Bastion here, unless Orisa pulls you back. I always get baited by that Orisa sometimes will grab me, pull me back, so I just shield here and let my teammates work on it. I try to turn my shield real quickly when that Tracer starts getting hit, and then once I get my charge up again, take it just instantly.
Okay, go into the side area.
Here I need to shield my teammates from the Eradicator and give them the side rim.
Recharge your shield.
My teammate calls out to recharge my shield. I don't want to spend too much time doing that because we really want to kill these Bastions as quickly as possible. Even like 600 shield can be enough to get across here. Like, we don't take much damage at all, and my shield really kind of went down. And I'm just going to go instantly here. I don't worry about the trash. I just charge the Bastion, hit him a couple times, put my shield up. I'm going to lose my shield. Doesn't matter. We just kill. That's all that matters. Here I'm going to hit my ult just because I didn't quite have charge yet. And then hit the charge as soon as it comes up, and then shield again, letting my teammates DPS. Those Bastions go down super fast. If you hit your charge on every single one of them, they will just go down super fast. Now here we get a little caught out trying to kill this Eradicator, even though he's in line of sight of the Bastion. We do manage to take him down though, and I go ahead and get up here. I think our Torb, I don't know what our Torb's doing. He's off on his own, gets killed, but we just focus the Bastion mostly. With the rest of us, we'll pick him up later.
I think that's the fastest I've ever seen those Bastions go down.
Yeah, as the Torb notes, this may be a pretty fast kill of the Bastions. We had just under 4 minutes left after killing them. If you really do this as a coordinated team, you'll always finish them with 4 minutes left. But yeah, it's super important to hit all those charges as Reinhardt. And here I kind of screw up. I don't think you should charge the Orisa like this, because then she's like running around to the side. You see Tracer misses the Tracer bomb there. That's a huge waste of both time and like resources. And it's kind of all my fault, because I made her do this. I charged her over there. I normally try to charge her into a wall, which she doesn't do that, but it's kind of hard. And so once she's back in this position, I like to just hold the shield up. If you just hold the shield up steady, she doesn't move at all. She just stays trained on you, and your teammates can headshot her, kill her really quickly. So here, we're going to have another risk again. I don't want to walk up too close to her, because as soon as a tank Bastion spawns, we need to back out. So my goals for every tank Bastion spawn are to have an ult charge ready, and to have full shield. And so I'm not going to do like shielding this Orisa right now very much, because we need to get out and we need to get ready for this Bastion. I'm calling to my team, please, let's back out quickly. And so we back almost all the way out. Bastion gets kind of close. I ult him. I miss my charge, which is really bad. But hopefully my team can finish up DPSing it pretty quickly. They're kind of, my team's all sort of spread out.
He's down.
Ideally everybody's like outside out of that hole, I think, like back in the previous Payload 2 area. But, you know, because like these Eradicators come up and just make it so much more painful. So here, I'd rather have our Mercy res, but they're just going to do a manual. We're now fighting a little bit against the clock, so I prefer having the reses really quickly. But it works out. Again, not using my shield too much.
Got a pretty good chance.
I'm gonna hide from the Orisas, try to use my shield as little as possible right here. Just now putting it up as our Mercy works me, and I'm actually gonna have to drop it and charge away. I try to hold my shield up until I have enough health to safely charge away, you know, around 200 something. Now I'm at 96% ult, which is not where I want to be, so I'm gonna go over and make sure I farm that last couple percent off of the guy, and then we all hide around these corners. Slam bam, thank you ma'am. Hit the charge on that, and he's dead.
Nice.
Somebody ate part of one of his bullets, but kind of hard to avoid that. Now we've got just over a minute left to get the last 2 Orisas. Sounds doable to me. You could try like a shielding and headshotting strat here. I find it doesn't work really well with the 2 Orisas because they just put out so much damage that your shield dies a lot. Plus you want to have your shield up for emergencies, like when they ult like this. Whenever they ult, you gotta get that ult diode back. And I almost, as Reinhardt, you should almost immediately switch to shielding when that comes up in order to keep your teammates from dying. Then I just use my ults whenever here. We're trying to kill these guys before the next tank Bastion comes up. Maybe I should have saved it for the tank Bastion, but I just knew we were so low on time we were probably just going to kill it instead of worrying about the last Bastion. And there we go.
Nice job, guys. Wow.
We did it.
Last one right there.
I was beginning to think I wasn't going to get that achievement.
So as you can hear, all my teammates pretty happy that they finally got that win. So this is still solo queuing.
Again?
I just chose to team up with these guys.
3 times in a row.
And that's basically how Reinhardt works on this. You always get play to the game if you kill a bunch of these splicers together. So that was some pretty clutch shielding right there. If we lost that turret, it would have been a lot more difficult.
Thanks for the achieve, boys.
In that section, I think.
Yeah, nice job.
And yeah, that's it. So Reinhardt is definitely a very technical character to sort of deal with and play as. Really, most importantly, when the sentry bastions are up, you get the charge on them. You get the charge on every single one of them. When the tank bastions are up, you shield as many of their blasts as possible and ult them if possible. And there you go.